episode 2. It's a similar sort of setup, isn't it? But this time they've got to perform for a magic show, and I thought it was really sweet that it's like, oh well, we can do actual magic, but we've got to like fool them because real magic shows are fake, aren't they? Like because they've got that sort of inhuman trait, haven't they? Of like, oh, those funny humans, like we can do all this stuff ourselves, but we're just gonna have to fool them. I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah.
I loved the scene where Paul Bettany walks into the library and he's talking to them and he's chewing the gum, and then you see, don't you, as a drawing, the cogs getting caught.
Yeah,
I thought that was fantastic.
That was
Yes, because probably in the original sitcom when it was around that time, the husband would have gotten drunk and everyone would have thought that was really funny. So they found a more wholesome and like nicer way to do it that also works with his anatomy.
And also, like, I think if there was a robot in a show of that era, you would look inside him and it would be like cogs like that. Do you know what I mean?
It's
like,
true.
Now with all these like androids and stuff in multimedia, it's like, oh, you know, they're made of like all these cells. But back here, it's like, nope, he's got the cogs stuck. Now he's drunk. I loved the line where they went to feed him the gum and he was like, oh,
Well, my understanding is that it's purely for mastication.
Oh, no, I don't do that.
That was hilarious. The actor's reaction was hilarious. Like, he was
fantastic.
like, I don't do that. That was
and it was
brilliant.
him later, wasn't it? That was like, what's in the box? What's in the box?
It's a very, very strong cast.
Definitely.
all round.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them all in like the 70s get up, 80s get up. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be really fun each week.
Yes, definitely.
What did you think of the magic show?
I thought the magic show was hilarious because I just loved the idea of him being obviously like this, I guess drunk, even though he's just got chewing gum in him, and just being super weird and like, oh, I'm just gonna do all my magic anyway that I have. Like, I mean, I'm just gonna do them, and like and then I love the whole thing of like Wanda's trying to got to figure out how to make it look realistic,
Yes,
sort of thing.
And you're right, Terry, because it's playing on those stereotypes, isn't it? Of like, oh, the husband's supposed to be the provider, but he's been caught up in a wacky situation where it turns out the wife's got to save his baby.
so
Oh my
true.
goodness.
Yeah.
I also think they do a really clever job of making a situation that is not relatable at all so relatable, because we've all had that drunk
We've
friend.
all had a magic show.
No, I mean, we've all had that drunk friend or partner that we've had to like try and get home.
Yes, Terry, we have.
It's always you, darling.
But yes, the magic show. I loved that he tried to levitate, and then it was like there was different reasons. Like, oh, now she's got a rope, and there was that last one where he phases the hat for his body, and then the excuse is mirrors.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
fantastic to see the
That
crowd
was
go. Is that even how mirrors work?
Yeah. I just love that the wire just popped in, and they all
Yes.
went, "Oh, that's it!" Like that was
But they were all about to like riot and get their pitchforks and like start stabbing them, and then suddenly they're like, "Oh, that's fine."
I think it might be the most sophisticated, most well-realised comedy of the MCU. Because it's not like, you know, when they sort of take the cheap shots, like in Doctor Strange, where it's like, Drake, Eminem, Rihanna? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, he's like listing off stuff like that, like one-word names, and you're a bit like, oh, this isn't really working with the movie. It's a bit cringe. Like, none of the jokes didn't land in these first two episodes. And they were all so well-constructed because they're meant to be a part of the sitcom.
Yes.
I was just, every time I was like, oh, that's clever, oh, that's funny. And then sometimes I would actually like laugh out loud.
Yes.
definitely. It's because it works ultimately as a sitcom itself. That's why it's so good. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why it works. Like, although we know that things are not right, and I think that's what's really good about it is that you're watching a sitcom, and it's fun to watch a sitcom on its own, but also you have this alluring thing of like, what's happening? Like, what's going wrong? So like, there's constantly something to be like questioning as an audience, something to be intrigued by, something to keep watching.
And do you know what was a really nice twist, which I wasn't expecting? The whole rewind thing.
Oh yeah, because there's a moment towards the end, isn't there, where the beekeeper comes out of the drain, which I thought was awesome because it felt like a bit to have him
really
coming out of the
creepy.
sewers. And there's been a few things like that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like there was a very Life on Mars type moment.
With the radio, yes.
Yeah, they're trying to get through on the radio, and that used to happen all the time, like Life on Mars and Ashes to Ashes, which has a similar sort of setup. For those who don't know, it's like Sam Tyler, the main character, gets put into the 70s in Britain, and there's people communicating in the present that try and sort of like pull him out, but he's sort of like, he doesn't know whether he's in a dream in like the past or whatever. And that was definitely sort of, it definitely felt like it was riffing on that sort of, maybe not intentionally, but it was definitely riffing on that sort of idea, and that was a joy to see. And I'm really excited for how they're going to play that going into more and more episodes, because surely more and more weird stuff's going to happen.
Yes.
More and more of the real world is going to try and bleed in and try and contact Wanda. I'm not unconvinced that either some of the townsfolk are real and Wanda's brought them into her illusion. Because you know how the woman she was
That
speaking
makes
to
sense.
at the when they were sort of planning the magic show, there was that woman, she was like, oh, I don't really know how I've gotten here, and blah, blah, blah. And she's sort of saying similar weird things. So I think she's real, and I think a couple of the other townsfolk are real, and then some of them are just
I've seen
imaginations.
a theory that Catherine Hahn, who plays Agnes, is the villain of this.
Well, in the comics, she's a witch.
Okay, gotcha.
That's cool.
So that's why she's a witch in the trailer with the Halloween thing.
Yes. Also, fun fact: Agatha Harkness, Rusty Davies, when he was creating Doctor Who, when he was reviving Doctor Who in 2005, Captain Jack Harkness is based. The name is based on Agatha Harkness.
Oh,
That's
wow.
cool.
Yeah, it's a nice little.
Checking in those Jockey Who facts.
I did also think, whilst we were watching Wonder Who, that Paul Bettany would be a fantastic Doctor. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh my god, yeah.
He's got the build, he's got the look, he's got the mannerisms.
Oh my god, yeah.
He was-
Why have we never thought this before?
Well, I guess he's a movie tier actor,
Yeah,
isn't he?
yeah.
I don't think he'd go near Doctor Who
Yeah.
now. Maybe a revival. You know, if I ever get a chance to bring it back in 20 years, Paul Bettany.
Top tier.
Also, he'd be the right age where he'd sort of be Capaldi age, wouldn't he?
Yeah, that is actually a perfect.
Salt and pepper Paul Bettany as the Doctor. Oh my
So,
god.
I'm sorry, but we need to talk more about this. We need to have a little Photoshop.
I need to
session.
Photoshop. Yeah.
I've got a question. What do you guys think? Joe, that radio that keeps calling Wanda. Who do you think that is? Or do you think who do you think it could be revealed to be? Or
Well, I was going to say actually that's reminded me that I'm pretty shocked there wasn't any kind of like big reveals. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like the first episode of Mandalorian where it's like, oh, Baby Yoda. Whatever does that
true.
mean? Like there was nothing like that. And I think that's almost bodes really well for the rest of the episodes because it says to me that they're not banking on like big shock twists or like legacy characters. It's just going to be like, no, this is the story and this is where we're going to go. The confidence that has gives me confidence in the next couple of episodes.
Yes.
definitely. And how many episodes are there? Do you know?
I think there's 6 left. I think there's 8.
There's 8.
Okay. So what do you think is going on? What do you think is the mystery? Should we put in our predictions now and see in a few weeks' time how correct we are?
I think Wanda has either been tricked into creating this situation and Agatha Harkness is behind it, or someone else is behind it in some way, or she accidentally did it and someone is profiting off of the situation. Do you know what I mean? But that's what I can't work out right now. Did Agatha Harkness, or whoever the villain is, push her into creating this reality, or did she do this herself? Do you know what I mean? Like, did she snap? Did she have like an episode and then she went, oh, okay, this is my new reality? Because I think that's what happens in the comics when she does like House of M. She has like a breakdown and then she remolds reality in her image. So that's what I'm hovering over at the moment. I'm like, has she chosen to do this, or has someone made her do it?
And how does this? Do we don't have any explanation in terms of where this fits in the timeline of the MCU at all? So we don't know.
It's after Endgame, isn't it?
So it is
That's
after
all we
Endgame.
know.
So like, yeah. So I'm thinking, is it, instead of them dying, they've gone to some
Yeah, see, my thought is it's between Infinity War and Endgame. So when
universe thing.
when she turns into dust, this is what's happening to her.
This is what I imagined almost.
Oh, okay. Oh, what? So like when she like dusts at the end of Infinity War, this is like sort of like the fever dream
Yes.
into Endgame. Oh, okay.
That
That's
was my
interesting.
thought.
I kind of imagined, that similar thing as well.
I think they've confirmed it's after Endgame,
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
but
And my
obviously it's all up
question
for
is-
grabs.
Yeah, of course.
Is Vision actually there, or is Vision a part of her reality? Because when she's like, is this happening? And he's like, yes, darling, it is. That made me think that he is just part of this world. He's not really there.
But then that also made me think that he's a man of like logic, isn't he? Because he's a computer. So wouldn't that just be his answer anyway? Do you know what I mean? Like, because he'd be like, well, there's no way that I wouldn't have picked up on the fact that we're in a fake, like this is happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was
I
imagining
think she's created him, but I wouldn't be shocked if he comes back in a tangible way by the end of the series. Do you know what I mean? I feel like this is setting up that he will come back.
that. Yeah.